And that part makes me think I went through all that to help other people get there. Like, we can get rich together on our way up.
Welcome to Car Therapy, a podcast striving to connect people with genuine discussion. This podcast is not directed to treat mental illness.
My best friend graduated magna cum laude finance. So the way he explained finance to me when he was tutoring me, it's like, I really get this shit. And it's like, if you're studying entrepreneurship and business marketing at the same time, you understand all these different dynamics of what generates a return on investment for what different target segment in whatever industry. I believe I went through this to help other people get whatever they need to get there too. That's all I know.
Can you please begin explaining how you got to be homeless?
I was a really happy kid. We were fortunate to get a good mother. Nothing like good mom. Yeah. So when she got cancer, are you kidding me? After all those diapers, I'll be right there. Was honored. When I wasn't in school, I was by her side. I would do it all over again, knowing that this would happen. I would do it all over again. But I would do some things different,
What about fondest memory with your mom? I think that would be...
I don't know. All I could think of was I have her coffee cup and how happy I was that she would pop up asking for coffee. The most significant thing, because it was something you take for granted before cancer. I really miss her. And I know I think she'd be proud of me. I try to think about that in everything that I do.
How did it go so she had cancer and you were taking care of her?
Yeah.
And then do you want to talk about her passing and kind of the transition of the house situation?
Oh, yeah. So, in my senior year, I guess,
Say that you're college educated and you were in school and stuff like that when this happened to you, because that's something that I love about your story, because I feel like most people think
homeless.
Yeah, homeless people aren't educated. In school for too.
Yeah, it was senior year business administration. My goal was to graduate, so it didn't matter what this obstacle course was to get there. I had to get there, And you just take each project, deadline seriously, and you get it done. So I was strategically located in the study hall. How could I not get it done? Yeah, so that's what I did. My uncle decided to steal the house. He was in as executor, but it was funny. It was like the day Mom died. Here he is. He came into the house without even telling myself or my tenant. Just went in there, went looking for the will, and I thought, oh, wow, that's rude. This guy he sucks. What's he doing? What's he want the will for? Oh, he's going to be executor. Okay, whatever. Take the will. And that will was what I needed to file to make the whole seamlessness be there in this probate hearing. Or I didn't even need a probate hearing if he would have filed the will. Instead, I don't know what he did with it, but... So even though I argued successfully at probate court, the magistrate, Stephen Rada, said that because we failed to file that will, it didn't qualify as probate. In the interest of justice, he told me and the current owners that because my mom owned it first, if I can find the statutes and be within statutes, I can proceed with the quiet title action, which I just had a hearing on the 13th of this past week and unraveled that.
He came in, he got the will, and basically with the will and then all those documentations, he was like, this house should actually go to me?
Exactly.
Wow.
He proved I found out in unlawful detainer court, which is where you would get evicted, bro. I was getting evicted out of the house I'm supposed to inherit.
Wow.
I had the will with us. How the hell does a realtor end up owning it? And there's a panel of judges who are looking at him like, That's a good question. So they looked at me and they said, look, people get greedy when money's involved. You're probably right. But this is not the forum for that. This is unlawful detainer. And he proved at this point, he proved at this point that he's the owner. And, you'll have to fight that, contest that in the other forum, which is the probate court.
Which is what you're doing now.
Which is what I did, probate court, but I'm following up based on what the magistrate from probate told me what to do.
Did she have you written in the will for?
Yes.
Wow, and so even though she wrote it down, right?
Even though she sat with a lawyer and they wrote it down, paid the lawyer to get this filed as fact, witnesses, everything, filed with the court,
Your uncle gets rightful ownership of this home, right?
Dead up.
And then you're living in it at the time.
I was. He came with the sheriff or cops or whatever, and I got evicted, and the cops seemed real happy to help him. He was going to tell me why these doctors and lawyers, like girls like me and blah, blah, blah. And so I knew something about my sexuality was the key to making him cringe. Like, at that moment, he was trying to hurt me. He wanted me to quit school. He wanted me to suffer somehow, taking the house, knowing I'm a college student. I have no place to live now. What am I going to do? He's ended up owning all my mom's assets. Come to find out that he'd written himself $3,000 checks 5 days before my mom died. And that was impossible because she was in a coma. When I get upset, I notice that you can turn a negative into a positive if you just focus on the rewards of what you're doing and realize, man, this is some hater shit. Chalk it up as like a learning experience, and step around it and use that as like a fuel. You get mad, you're not gonna get mad, you use it as a fuel to get ahead. I just meet people along the way that make it easier. That's what happened. Because without them buying me some textbooks or feeding me, maybe it would not have been the same. I remember one time being hungry enough to consider stealing.
Oh.
Yeah, and I went into the food co-op telling whoever the marketing manager was that story, and I told her, look, man, I could offer you some marketing skills, I could trade you, and we could talk about it. And I gave them some ideas about focusing on their local farmers. She gave me a gift card, a $10 gift card, so I was like a really good meal.
I want to apologize for the interruption. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. It really helps out the channel and you'll never miss an episode. Thanks. How nervous were you asking for that meal too? Because I would imagine just being so ashamed, I nervous.
Got past the shame.
You got past
if you're that hungry, bro, you forget about shame. Nobody knew that I said this motorcycle jacket was gonna look good doing it if I was gonna be homeless, right? So I'm wearing this $2,000 motorcycle suit. Nobody really knew it was that much, but it was like I looked hell cool in it, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I should have got the red and white one instead of the black one, and I wouldn't look so sluggish or. And I remember the person when they fitted me, they said I should have got the red and white one since it was going to be my homeless pajamas. And at the time, I could have got both of them, and I should have, because I went into this with 4 major credit cards. Discover was the best. I recommend getting all the credit you can. You might die tomorrow and not be able to pay it back. Meanwhile, your lifestyle is upgraded. Buy some stocks, live well, worry about paying it later.
Yeah.
I'm so serious.
Okay.
I'm serious. So I lived, it got me through a couple of years of homelessness. So, man, it went until
How long were you homeless for?
I almost want to say 4 years, but I think it was like good 3.5 for sure.
So the whole senior year you were homeless?
Huh?
Because you went into senior year 2017, right?
Yeah, and that...
Graduated 2019, right?
Yeah, so that whole time I was homeless.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Hell yeah, it was a long time. In 2017 was when I hadn't told anybody yet, but I slept in the winter sanctuary. I had to be at Loaves and Fishes every day by 3 o'clock.
And Loaves and Fishes is a food kitchen or something? Or?
It is a local soup kitchen, but not at Loaves and Fishes, but there was a big property there where you go to this warehouse and the social workers sign you in and you wait till the buses come and the bus transports you to a local church, sleep on the church floors. These cute and fuzzy church parishioners give you a dinner and breakfast the next day and I guess watch over you like angels. And I thought, oh, okay, I can do this. You're gonna watch over me, right? Okay. You know, I tried one more shelter, Salvation Army.
Oh, wow.
They are corrupt.
Really?
I swear to God, man, it's like people were like donating stuff and, you know, brand new stuff. Well, the workers got the new stuff and we got the used stuff. Even though it was cool used stuff, can't complain. The workers got the new stuff.
Really? How did you feel like
weird
walking into the homeless, like, Salvation Army for the first time?
Well, it was kind of like this, I guess, the same feeling that you might feel, you know, that everybody there has probably been to prison or done time or something, and that was kind of mostly the feeling because they're in a shelter and it's a wet shelter, they call it. So, you know, they could be on drugs or drunk, but they can't be drinking, you know? Yeah, you know what I mean?
And so what about, like, safety
people
in there? How does that work if people are drunk?
I don't know. Stuff always comes up missing. I just don't know. So
How was the sleeping situation? Was it just like, I imagine it's just like a warehouse with beds in it.
Well, what was scary for me, honestly, was realizing how corrupt it was. Because if you see something like you go into the kitchen and they're giving out like these ribs and you're getting 2 ribs that are like this big each and they're counting them out and you go back for seconds seeing that there's more, they're saying basically no because the cooks plan on taking that home and then you can see them taking it home. So how is the food that's supposed to benefit us, you know, and if we're hungry still, you should give us more food or you should give us, you know, I don't know. How are you getting some of that meat that you just grilled on that grill right there instead of passing it out to all the guests until there is no more? You get a paycheck, bro. You could go out and eat like whatever you want, whatever, you know, I don't know, whatever, but, you know, to me it was like a crooked, corrupt kind of thing. And if they were allowing this to,
Continue.
Nothing. Basically, the sleeping area was like, you know, bunk beds and open, not closed areas so that you can walk by and see if, you know, like monitors walk by and make sure you're not doing any kind of ratchet stuff, I guess, or, you know, following the rules. But a lot of people didn't follow the rules. And, you know, maybe there were good people, workers there just wanting to do their job, but for the few that weren't, I mean, it made me think poorly of the place, you know? Maybe it wasn't as corrupt as it seemed, but that's like 2 instances, you know? Plus, I remember
What did you see that the workers turned a blind eye to, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I think for those dynamics to happen, and you can see it happen as a guest, then for sure you're seeing it happen as a worker, you know? So to me, it's not my job to police it. So I just want to just be there and not have, you know, and have them, oh, okay, so you're doing that? That's fine, man. Just give me some food that's not poisoned or something and I'll be happy, okay? Well, I mostly slept in a car. I had a Miata.
And so a Miata's super tiny, by the way.
Well, yeah, so if I was any taller, it would have been real uncomfortable. So I found a way to slip my feet under the pedals and, you know, just right where I could stretch out and, like, don't move, though.
So, okay, hold on. Let's just talk about the living situation. So for the full 3.5 years, 4 years, you're mostly living in your car, right?
Yeah. And well, except for the study hall, too.
Yeah, well,
but I was mostly living in my car at first until
So it went car then study hall, or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because,
but you tried like Salvation Army and the other homeless services in between, or no?
I did, yeah. I did because people were telling me, oh, you should, and I thought, oh, I'd be close to a meal, but honestly, it wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it?
It was not worth it. It was like, to me, asking for trouble because it was just trouble there. You're gonna have, like, haters. I'm gonna worry about if somebody's like, okay, they know you're a college student, not just some bum on the street. They might not like it. Maybe they're going to try to poison you or something. And I was always worried about that.
Maybe they think you have something that they don't, that they want, right? Like, I don't know, something on you or something. I don't know.
Honestly,
I could see
man.
that.
I saw like a kind of a reverse discrimination too, as a lot of people only theoretically want to help homeless. So it's weird. It was just weird. It's like, finding a way to just survive this without I didn't really fit in as a righteous homeless, because my backpack was filled with textbooks and a calculator, not homeless gear, and I wasn't going wherever they were going. Wherever they were going, I thought it would take me away from what I needed to do, so I didn't go, no matter what it was. And so it was kind of easy if I just focused on that. So when I needed slept in my car, I would just stay near a hospital because there was a bathroom 24/7. And when I lost the car because Sac State Police towed it, after finding out, even though I was legally parked and had the sticker, they found out my license was suspended, so they towed my, I had a Honda Element at the time.
Wait, okay, hold on. So I'm just trying to think, like, chronologically, right? And so I want to go chronologically in, like, your living situation. So you were at the Kaiser parking lot. Well, where did you go after you were sleeping at the Kaiser parking lot?
Well, see, so it wasn't like, I played everything by ear, Like, I would have a first choice plan A, plan B, plan C, you know what I mean? So it's like, I had to sleep in the parking lot other times when other things didn't happen. Like, I'd have people that would invite me for dinner or to stay the night or, spend the weekend, or other friends that would invite me on trips, or some friends that would just like buy me a meal out at places, and some that would buy me textbooks. So it was different, and I played it all by ear depending upon what was happening. No, it's like there's some things that you get in your head that you think, okay, well, you're technically homeless, but so as long as you don't cross these lines in your head, you'll be just fine. Like, your mental health will be stable. You know what I mean? Like,
One of them was having a bathroom for you.
Hell yeah. Bro, if I saw myself, like, doing some kind of whatever I saw the Kappa Squat stuff do, it was like, to me, that would be like, okay, you gave in, you caved in, you're gonna, live like that, then, you've crossed that line, So to me, I couldn't do it. I just refused. Okay. And I think that doing things, setting boundaries for yourself, healthy boundaries in your own mind to keep yourself safe and healthy, and moving forward progressively, then you'll be just fine. Just forget the rest.
Yeah. And that probably saved your mental health a lot, right, too, because I remember you telling me that eventually you started sleeping on a roof.
Oh, that was spring break.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
So I was caught me totally by surprise. I hadn't told anybody. I was too embarrassed. Oh my God.
Hold on. So let's back up for a second. All right. So you're you're at Kaiser, and then you start sleeping in the student center that was open 24 hours, right?
Well, see, that was a good find, though, finding the student center that was open 24/7.
Yeah.
Because that gave me a warmer place than a car, more comfortable. I could stretch out, Wi-Fi, computer resources, everything I needed.
You could study there comfortably.
Dude, yes. And there were no qualms about falling asleep because I was enrolled.
Yeah, and so in a way, you being a student, like, your homelessness
saved me.
Like, saved your homelessness
Yes.
experience. And probably definitely helped get you out of homelessness too, right? Because you graduated and that gave you other opportunities.
Yeah, it made me feel better.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you go from sleeping in your car and then you decide, like, hold up, this student center would be way better for me to sleep in. So you're there. But you're still going to Loaves and Fishes for food?
I had to.
How was your food situation like? Can you just run me through, like,
the worst.
A daily schedule when you're sleeping at the student center? Like, wake up, how would you get your meal? Something like that.
Well, I'd wake up. So I wake up naturally between 6 and 7, but there seemed to be some kind of thing with the janitors, so I try to wake up when they got there. They were like my alarm clock. I'd hear them coming and I would just get up and I'd just have my stuff all ready to go, whatever. I was gone. By the time they opened the door, they'd come out, I'd get on. And I'd go to the gym that opened at 6. So I'm up at 6, gym opens at 6, take a shower there. And if I had extra stuff, sometimes I would leave it in the locker there and just go on, do my class, and then come back and get it out. And what made it easy was there was this guy over on the Fulcrum property that gave me a key to one of those bike lockers over there, and I just stuck my stuff in that cubby hole, and so I never had to look like I was carrying a shitload of bags. Thank God for that, because, man, it was like, that would have been the worst. Having to carry a lot of bags, and I would have had to. I would have even had to carry a sleeping bag. I don't know that I would have been able to get through it, especially since they towed my car, which was the only other safety net I had. So I had no security in Maslow's pyramid. Man, I had holes in that. I had no security, no safety, no shelter, and no food. So it was like I only had one of the 5.
So even when you were, like, living on campus, right, well, sleeping on campus, how did you get your food?
I had to try to plan I would pick my classes around the schedule for the nonprofits that gave food out.
That's smart. And so you're still sleeping at the student center, right? And so you wake up at 6 a.m., right, go shower, and then would you go to one of these nonprofits, or?
No, not in the morning usually. I usually picked, I'm a morning person, so I pick morning classes, and I'd always have a morning class, and maybe I'd be done and just go have lunch and I'd be done for the day or something. I don't know, weird. I don't remember that though a lot.
So no breakfast, no food in the morning time?
Oh, I would drink an Ensure.
And then would you get lunch at one of these?
I would get lunch at one of those places. I was only eating like one real meal a day. And then the rest was like snacks or Ensures.
Wow, okay, so you're going through college, like how many classes are you taking?
Well, at this point I was paying out of pocket.
Yeah,
so I had to come up with, every 5 months I had to cough up like $700-800. Financial aid gave me a check every term. I would say max out the loans, so I would get like $5 or $6 grand. It was more like $5 grand every term. So I'm not even worried about paying this off because I could tap into this other loan thing, and who knows? I should max it out, because I could die tomorrow. But if I get a job, which I'd rather get a job and pay it all back because that's bragging rights, my goal is to get a job. But if I don't get a job, man, why should I suffer? So yeah, we're gonna max out those loans, and we're gonna live, as comfortably as possible. Try to be really smart with the resources that you have and try to capitalize on.
How did homelessness affect your self-esteem, do you think?
Well, I was definitely first ashamed of it, but then again, I felt like, well, I don't see any other homeless going to college. I don't see any other homeless person I see a lot of homeless people caring about whether or not they look or smell homeless, so that was good. But I don't see a lot of them wearing a $2,000 leather suit. So I tried to keep that a secret thing that secretly made me feel like, okay, there's something a little better about you. So make it work for you. Make that work for you. Make that whatever it is that gives you the drive to step out of this, even though you gotta be here, to just, you don't have to like get absorbed by it. It's an experience. It's an obstacle course, man, and you can get through this and don't even think about it, I felt more ashamed while I was in job interviews when they would ask me personal questions like, how it was that I came to get there or learn these skills the way that I did. Well, I'm in the study hall studying 8 to 15 hours a day because I didn't want people to know I was homeless, so I didn't bring a blanket. I didn't bring anything. It's like, I had this clothes underneath my leather suit, which I could change out the leather suit and maybe a jacket over that. Nope, that kept my self-esteem, is that I didn't look or smell homeless. I actually was like housemates with her and a bunch of other college students for a little while, but found out that I didn't pass the, I got evicted. So I don't pass the, what the application is. So it's like, shit, why even bother, man? I'm not even bother paying the application fee knowing they're going to find out I've been evicted. They don't care what the story is. So I'm sorry guys, I can't live with you guys anymore. So now I have to live in my car and all this shit and do the homeless shit. That's what happened. So at first I was trying to have an apartment. Felt it important that I didn't make people feel like I was costing them anything, that I was a burden in some way. So I avoided that feeling by not telling people what I was going through until I was already through it. I didn't realize that people, when they hear the H word homeless, that alarms go off, and at that point, all the doors that were open suddenly shut. So I need to really be careful with who I'm telling that to. I felt like.
Do you feel like there are any like long-term effects of being homeless? Like, do you worry about security or, something like that? Like, are you still like in survival mode, I guess?
Kind of. I'm like I've been through the Great Depression with food. I am not kidding. I'm treasurer of the snack committee now. I've got like, instead of in my whatever bag I have, there's usually a emergency snack in it for just in case, or in the car there's a couple insurers for just in case. There's water in there too for just in case. It's like
situation.
Transition by remember the Winter Sanctuary? Well, those social workers were Sac State graduates, and I would always use my Sac State ID, and they started saying that, well, she's definitely not on drugs or alcohol, and my God, we can tell she doesn't have mental health issues after these 5 months that I see them every day getting in this sleeping on church floors. That they offered me an appointment, and they said, I want you to go to this appointment. I said, what do you mean? She's like, look, go to this appointment, and I'm setting you up like they're getting me on the rapid rehousing thing. And I don't know how that went, but they set it up. They said I had to be at this appointment by 2:00 though, and I took public transportation to get there. I wasn't going to make it, so I called another Sac State graduate, came and picked me up from where I was, and I got there just in time. It was like 2 minutes late, maybe. And it was funny because I almost didn't want to go. I was like, no, I'm going to miss lunch. She said, I'll give you $10 for lunch. She even gave me $10 for lunch. I can't forget it. Yeah, when I got there. And it's like, it wasn't one of those, I promised, but you don't get it. No, she gave it to me. Like, I didn't even have to ask. That was cool. I like people like that. And so I got on rapid rehousing through AOL, and they paid 2/3 of my rent. Why pay 1/3 of it? Impressive. So I rented a room, and they wanted me to be one of their success stories and sign papers, but to me it didn't make sense because I didn't have a job, so I couldn't keep up the rent. So because they stopped paying and thought of me as a success if I sign it. They didn't have the funding for it.
So they expected you to pay the full day.
And I couldn't. So I told them, look, man, I can't even finish paying this rent. So you guys, how do you guys see me as a success? I don't have a job to continue paying. Yeah. It was like, as soon as you guys stop paying, I'm going to be homeless again. Yeah. So I didn't sign that paper. So then I went back to sleeping in a car. I went back to sleeping in a car. Yeah, in the study hall, and I did that until I graduated.
And then how did you get from being homeless to where you are now?
I don't remember.
The living situation.
I did go stay with a friend of mine. It was like other thing. All kinds of people were offering me a place, but the only one person I felt like an oasis with was the one that she was like, I gave her some advice. She had some kids living in her home, and they had stopped paying rent and whatever, and she was footing all the bills. So whatever, she ended up selling the house and picking me to be a housemate, like right now. So it's me and there's like 3 of us in that house. I'm on the couch.
You mentioned it earlier, and I feel like I wanted to say this for then because I feel like this is going to be a long one, but you said something that people want to help homeless people in theory. Could you elaborate on that and like your effects with, or your experience with nonprofits? You mentioned this before, your experiences with nonprofits perpetuating homelessness, like stuff like that. I think that's a really interesting point.
Well, I'll go in reverse, starting with some nonprofits perpetuating homelessness. So at the time when we did the PR project for Loaves and Fishes didn't have a doctor. They didn't have any really resources for homeless other than they gave you a meal and they gave you a referral to other outside resources, and you can Google yourself or see any social worker anywhere basically and get that information. So a lot of funding was going to this organization that did not help homelessness out of homeless. There's no jobs, there's no housing, there's like nothing really other than this referral and a meal. So people came from all over because you're getting this new stuff that you could use to sell to supplement your income or whatever you're going to use that for. If you're not using the intended purpose when these people gave you a tent, if you're going to go sell it to supplement your income, well, what are you using it for?
So Loaves and Fishes would give out tents and stuff.
Loaves and Fishes gives out all kinds of brand new free stuff that a lot of people, if you're going there every day, well, what do you need? What are you doing with all that stuff in your homeless? You're probably like you can go, if you went to the bike things when they're giving away bikes, you can see people walking away with it saying, hey, anybody want to buy a bike? So, yeah. So, and if you've got people and you're not really addressing what made them homeless, they're still doing what they did.
They're just surviving homelessness.
They're just surviving homelessness, which some of them, if they're addicted, I was watching that book, if they're addicted and they're bringing their kids to this kid's school, then they're going out and getting whatever they need to survive their drug thing. And what kind of life is that for the kid, really? So, people come from like different states even to get this free stuff, and they're around the perimeter of Loaves and Fishes because around Christmas, man, people come with all kinds of stuff. You have people that aren't even homeless with carts out there getting all the free stuff. There's so much of it. Then you got all that garbage. But so the people that live around there, they're doing their thing or whatever, but people that really need the help maybe can't get, or too afraid to get through that perimeter or even be able to get there to get some of the help that they offer. Because who could afford $7 a day on that transit if you're homeless, unless you're doing something to make money, which is black market, But and then the other part of your question was
theoretically helping homeless people.
The theoretically, I say, because like if I went to a gas station, this is the only way I was able to ask for money, because I just couldn't ask for money. I just couldn't. I felt too much shame with that. But I could ask for gas. I could show my student bodyguard, show that I'm a student, say, hey man, I'm a student, you know, I'm experiencing this homeless situation. Can you give me some gas? Are you really a student? Hell yeah. Look, I got the current term sticker.
Yeah,
so
I would have bought you gas. Hell yeah.
Yeah, well, I was too chicken to ask. So it's like, sometimes I noticed that people were already in their pocket getting some change or money out until I said I was a student and showed my card, and then they said, oh no, I don't have anything, you know. So it was like, you know, are they reaching from their wallet? And I say, yeah, I'm a student. Oh, you're a college student? Oh, yeah, well, no, I don't have anything for you. So it's like a reverse discrimination in that some people don't want to see somebody that's homeless theoretically be in a better place than they are. Right then and there. It's like, this homeless person, if you're really in the business program studying business, and I'm giving you, and you know, I'm working at Walmart, you know, just getting by, why would I want to give you some of my hard-earned money just so you can get a business degree and make six figures? So there's a lot of thinking like that. There's a lot of people that are poor that actually frown at people that are wealthy. That was the kind of reverse discrimination that I was experiencing. I think the homeless are realizing that there's only a theoretical offer for help. It's like the theoretical offer comes from so much funding that's being put into these different agencies, but it's fake in that you've got fake people running these agencies. Some people that they just want a job, but they don't really want to provide the benefit to these target people. But then you've got some people that they really do want to help. And if you hire just those people on those jobs, it would be a better place. Like, the whole perception of homelessness would change, because you've got these phony people that don't probably even really like being around homeless, working there just for a paycheck, you know, and they're faking the funk, and then they leave that job thinking whatever they think, but they're talking to their friends and they're perpetuating another ideology of homelessness, what homelessness is, you know? And you can't really put a face to it or a label on it, because the face of homelessness changed, you know? A lot of people are homeless. A lot of people don't have money, but not all of them are on drugs or alcohol or have those mental health issues or social issues. It's sifting through that's scary, and that's why these agencies really should have resources that provide avenues that would get help in the different ways that the people need help. And right now there isn't none of that. The agencies offer what they offer, and there's no way of putting it all together, so it's like seamless. It's just choppy.
What do you think like the biggest difference a nonprofit could make that would help turn around more homeless people's stories?
That's it. The staff.
The staff?
Yeah, it's like, who's running it? Are you got really sweet people, genuine people like Sister Judy, or you got some bullshit people like Brother Libby? You see what I mean? It's like, you know, and people think like people with these I don't know, it's like a lot of times you know, the people aren't what you think, or who do you think they are. You know what I mean? They just look good on paper or something. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you hire people, you really should be hiring people that really care about this target segment and making a difference. That is what will count in the long run and make a real difference, because you've got people that would channel funding towards really making an effort instead of channeling funding that would just benefit themselves into like a better paycheck or a better tax bracket, you know? You don't know what these nonprofits are doing with that money. They're supposed to be helping, but are they? You see what I mean? So it depends on who you got in these agencies helping. I swear they can, even with what they got, even if there's just a little bit of resources because they're supposed to be helping homeless, they can make a difference depending upon who's working there.
I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. If you are interested in being on the podcast, please email cartherapypod@gmail.com. Thank you.